What's going on, everybody? This is Urban J Reviews, and some of you guys have been asking what we can do as the average Joe to prepare for a potential food shortage again if round two, wave two of the pandemic picks up, whatever the case may be when it comes to a food shortage. So that's what this video is going to be about. Let's dive in here and take a look. So some of the things that I've done just to prepare for this, I'll just show you what's in my pantry first before I show you guys around what else I have for long-term food storage. But you can see I've got a lot of these chili, organic chili. I try to get organic, but not everything's organic. Some of this is just like, well, after my organic runs out, I've got Chef Boyardee, you know. I've also got some variations in water filtration systems. Also, you're gonna wanna have some corn, vegetables, you know, green beans, diced tomatoes. So don't forget your fruit and veggies, stuff like that. I do have condensed soup. Now over here, let me show you guys what's over here. I have more stuff on this rack. So you can see I take this very serious when it comes to the canned foods. Now, the other things that I have here are going to be a lot of different types of noodles, although I don't think I have enough, but I do have enough rice. So the reason I have this rice is not necessarily for everyday use, although after a certain time, the shelf life will go bad and I will, you know, replace it. But right now in the short term, I've got 2 bags of jasmine rice. I've got plenty of noodles. This is like a 30-day supply. I've got some long-term storage with sugar and flour, brown sugar. Here's some more rice. I've got a little bit more noodles, some flour. These are just things that I have in here just for some long-term or short-term, you know, solutions to this potential food shortage. So I wanted to show you guys this potato flakes that I have, because basically 3 things that you can have for a long-term play are going to be potatoes, beans, dried potato flakes like this, and rice. Those 3 things right there will at least carry you for a little bit longer in a worst case situation. But potatoes, if you remember the Irish potato famine, that was a big deal. But you know, that's something to keep in mind. You're gonna want to have some meat, you know, having some beef jerky, that's long-term storage. You know, it'll give you a few months to hold on to that, especially as we're still dealing with this pandemic. You know, some backup jerky. I will put links in the description to some of these items that you can buy, like right here, right now, including this right here. Having a few boxes of these granola bars is probably a good idea. I'd recommend having at least 3 or 4 if you can. You know, just mixing it up between this, these canned foods, the beef jerky, you know, some things to keep in mind for a potential food shortage for you and your family. Now, bear in mind, a lot of the fruit that you guys already eat, the veggies that you already eat, the tomatoes that you may grow in your backyard, the cantaloupe, those are all seeds. But I also have a seed bank that I've ordered online. You guys can order this exact same one from Satango. I'll give you a link to it. But, you know, having these as just a backup, these are like when things really get crazy, you've got backup supplies. And remember, when something grows into, say, an eggplant grows, you can take the seeds out of the eggplant and you can, you know, reproduce more and more. Same with tomatoes and all that stuff, even corn. So I just wanted to show you guys having a seed bank on hand with a wide variety of things, including beans. You can see green beans right here. So that's what I recommend. If you haven't already, get with it. Get a seed bank just as a backup storage that you don't tap into. You know, the stuff you get at Lowe's, the stuff you get at Home Depot, you might use that as everyday seasonal stuff. This is a backup supply for long term. Now, depending on how big you want to get with this, depending on how many people are in your house, okay, because there's only 2 people here, I'm not going to be having a big backup fridge, but this Medea fridge works great. You can see I've got a variety of different meats in here. You know, having a backup fridge in the garage, I recommend this. I'll put a link to this and the bigger one, depending on what size you're going to need. This one right here works for me, but if you have a big family, you're going to want to get double this. Also, I wanted to show you guys, I have had this on hand, these 2 5-gallon water jugs as a backup water supply, food shortages, supply chain shortages. That's why I have this. While we're on the subject of water, I do have a tarp that I will protect this in the event of an emergency. This is a backup water supply. If you have a pool, a spa, I also have a pond. Water filtration, chlorine only lasts for what, 2 to 3 weeks. So keep a tarp on hand, backup water supply right here. Should be doing to prepare for a food shortage or a famine, you know, something along this line, pestilence kind of situation. Education, educate yourself, learn to grow your food, learn what's going to happen, learn from the past, learn from the potato famine in Ireland, watch a documentary if you can on YouTube, and go onto these websites that are government run, you know, where they give you information. Like here you have healthypeople.gov. It talks about food insecurity and some things that you guys can keep in mind. Also learning from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration. So this is FDA.gov, going on there, understanding about things like food shortages, but also keeping in mind drug shortages. Some of you guys have underlying health issues that require, you know, prescription pills. What happens if supply chain disruption happens to the drugs that you're used to getting for whether it be diabetes or high cholesterol, high blood pressure? Keep this stuff in mind. That's why you want to have up to 6 months downrange. And I hate to say it, but if we face 6 months, we could be facing 2 to 3 years at that point. So these are all things to keep in mind. I don't want to paint the doomsday picture, but it's called preparing. That's why you're watching this video. You're getting prepared. Some other things to keep in mind when it comes to this, you know, backup power supply. You have Jackery, you have Goal Zero. I have a Goal Zero with a solar panel. These are, you could get a generator right here, portable generator, but I personally go with solar power because if there's food shortages, there could be supply chain disruptions with gasoline. So at least with solar, you know, you've got the sun, especially if you live in a sunny place. Now, if you live in a colder climate, like maybe Canada or something, you might have to consider other combustible energy sources such as wind, you know, wind and a snowstorm, that might work, or gasoline power in this case. But, you know, how are you going to have that much gasoline power? Okay, so these are all things to keep in mind. How to survive a famine. You can go on to this website right here, American Gun Association.org. They've got some pretty good information, but it's basically everything I've already gone over. Stock up on food, grow your own garden, know when the relief aid comes. So that's, you know, knowing around where the food banks will be set up in the event of a serious situation. Stock up on water. We just talked about that. Arm yourself. Obviously, you guys know what that takes, you know, whether it be pepper spray, a baton, a baseball bat, or a gun, a handgun, a rifle. I mean, we don't need to go too much into that, but there's obviously ammo shortages right now, right? Be discreet. You know, not everyone in your community needs to know, because when people get desperate, they do desperate things, right? Knowledge is power. We just talked about the need for education, and then bugging out, which is, you know, having to get outside of your area. I live here in Phoenix, Arizona. It's a very hot place in the summertime. Really hard to grow anything. You're going to need a lot of shade. Maybe something like Phoenix, Arizona, when it's 110, 115, not the best place to be. But in the wintertime, it is a good place to be. So knowing when to bug out, bugging in, stuff like that. Anyway, I just wanted to make this quick video. I will put links in the description. I'll try to get you a few extra products that you guys can take a look at, of things that you can get right now, you know, before, you know, things may heat up, because, you know, we don't know. I mean, it depends on what Dr. Fauci's saying, what the government's saying. I mean, it just keeps going up and down. Right when we think we're out of the woods, we go back in the woods. So I can see why you guys are wanting to prep and take this opportunity. That's why I'm making this video. That's why I've been doing this educational training video. Thanks to everyone who crushed up the likes and subscribes to Urban J Reviews. We'll see you on the next one.